Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm going to go over the trade today and the review and everything. So basically today I wanted to see bearishness. So the reason I wanted to see that is because you go to the 4 hour time frame, you can see that we hit the highs here. We hit this high that was sitting here. Then over here, we ended up having a lower high. So we had an SMT. So that was trigger number one. And then number two, we had a lot of liquidity down here. We had this gap, and then we have like these internal lows here, and then we have this new week opening gap that we could target here on ES, which we're going for now, which I still think it's going to reach there. It just hasn't yet. So basically, going down to lower time frame, we had the push down in pre-market, and then we moved back up to these highs here. And then you go to the 30 minute, you see how we have this. So we have a lower high here, and we have a higher high here in this gap. So there's an SMT in that gap. So I'm like, okay, that's more likely to have price move down lower towards these lows down in this area, because this was my first target right here, was this gap right down here beneath these lows there. So with that being said, you go to the 15 minute, you have the 15-minute gap here. We are down below that as well. And then you go to the 5 minute, this is where juiciness starts to happen. These are the gaps I was looking at in this time frame. We had this fair value gap here. Basically, we came up, we rejected in here. So, and then we came back down, we closed down below that gap, and we rejected this 5 minute gap here. So this is a protected gap in my book based on my confirmations here. And then price came up, it rejects this wick here, completely rejects the wicks, comes down, closes down below this gap here. And this is where I'm getting pretty excited. And then we move up, we close it again. Okay, so I'm like, all right, just chopping around, hitting these lows, whatever. And then we close back down below again. I'm like, okay, that's it. We have a bearish bias. Now we're back down below this 5 minute gap that's reclaimed. I'm going to look for an entry here. So I'm in the 3 minute. You can still see, let's see, we have like these 3 minute gaps. We closed up above here. Notice this candle closed above that 3 minute gap there. Then we close back down below it. So that's bearish. So there's a lot of bearish signs. Yes, we took the lows, but I'm still looking for a deeper retracement. Like I have a deeper bias in mind. And then go to the 2 minute time frame. You can start to see what price is doing. So once we came back down below, we SMT'd this. So I entered the trade right here, but then we SMT'd this. Okay, we came up higher here into this gap, and then this one didn't over here. So I wanted to see this start just trading down. So I was in the trade. All right, I'm in the trade right here. SMT'd it, came down, and then started chopping around. Okay, and then we hit this high again. We came back down here. When we came back down here, look how we took this low when we came back down here. So I had two positions on. I closed one position right there. Basically a little bit of profit. Okay. And I wanted to see prices follow through here. Because if we get up into this area, we could still reject this gap and go down. But we have all this LR up here. That could be hit. And then, and actually, I did want to hit it. Obviously, you can see now, but that's hindsight. And then, basically, I wanted to see this start moving down, but just based on the 3 minute closure now, this is exactly what happened. We had this 3 minute closure here. We had the SMT at the lows, where these are making lower lows. This is making a higher low here. So with that being said, I thought this was a 50-50 trade. I closed the trade at break even, and there we go. That was it. I mean, I closed the trade just because of that and the SMTs. I'm like, okay, if price was to short, it would have short already. And if we get a reconfirmation of this gap here, I'll look for a reentry, but like right now it's not clear to me. Like, so based on my rules, I have laid out that I'm not going to close because of discomfort. I'm going to close because of what the chart is telling me. And today the chart told me, okay, this trade is not as highly probable, so let's get out of it. So the trade starts going up here. We hit this high, and I wanted to see a short back down. Okay, we came and did not invert this candle yet, and then we came back down below, closed it here, and I wanted to see a short. Like I really wanted to press the button here on this inversion for value gap here, but I held myself like tight with my rules. I'm saying I am feeling FOMO. I really want to get in. It looks good for the short because we have the SMTs here. So we have the higher high made here, but we have the lower high made here. But I also see we had a lot of LR here. Eventually, obviously, this came back up, and then we got up into this range. And then I don't trade after this time frame, 11:10. So I don't trade after that. But price did start playing out. So once we hit this high, we had SMT in the 1 hour time frame. So go to the 1 hour. We have this higher high here. Okay. And then we hit into this gap right there. So when we did that, I'm paying attention Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that going towards that end log. Like I just said, I wanted to see it go down into here. That's what I've been targeting all day. But I mean, it is what it is. Break even on the day on the funded accounts. But I mean, that's just how it is sometimes. All right, getting into this. Where was I? So basically, we inverted this 5 minute gap. Okay, you see how we close above this gap here on this candle, and we had the SMTs all up in this high. That's another key. So the SMTs up here, SMTs on these wicks, and then this last one. Notice how the wick over here on ES was higher, and this one was lower. We're paying attention to this 5 minute candle. We close down below this. We retest it, and then we short. Boom. That's entry right there, guys. Right there. That is entry. Go to the 2 minute time frame. Same thing. We have this 2 minute gap. We close down below it. Entry. Dude, it's like this is protected because we have the SMT at the high, SMT in the wicks. We have a bearish bias of all these draws lower. So that was key, the bearish bias. And then basically retested, came down, came back in. If I was in it, I don't know. I might have been break even. But learning over time is that this gap here, stop should be after we move away from here. You can take partials in here or whatever, take whatever off. I mean, you got the bullish SMT down, lower low. You got the higher low. We could just flip right back up. It's possible. It's very, very possible. Okay, especially since we didn't invert this 15-minute gap yet. All right. So we're paying attention to all of that as well. Is that 15-minute gap marked out? Yeah, it is. I want to get into that in a little bit here. But that kind of came and hit us out. But stops basically in something like this could go to here. You lower your risk basically almost in half. Not quite half, but like pretty much. So stops right there in case I wanted to come back up. And then we started rolling down. And look what happened when we rolled down here. So we have this high and this high, so higher high, and then we have a lower high here. And when we shifted down below that, this order block here, this down close candle right here, that's shifted down is now the breaker. So we're using it as a breaker. Same with this one here. And we're using that as the breaker. And then we're looking at these wicks. Notice a lower high, higher high, and then these wicks in here have SMT. So these have lower high on these wicks, higher high on these wicks over here. So SMT is there. We are below this 5 minute gap. Okay. We are below this 5 minute gap in this breaker. Clear targets lower. We're getting signatures and price. The price wants to move lower from here. So with that being said, we then look at this as, I mean, even if you get a bad fill, stops, I mean, you want to stay protected down below this, but I mean, obviously stops you can put here. So first TP there. And I mean, if you get a better fill, if you're looking at a really good fill, there's a good 1R. Obviously, I didn't take this, but this is how I'm looking at price, and this is how I become confident over the years, like in my trades. Going down to this gap, I would not have held all the way down to here. Like it's ripping way down through here, but I wouldn't have held all the way down to here. But anyways, that as well, 15-minute time frame. Notice this 15-minute. We closed down below this gap. So basically, we reclaimed this gap as a bearish gap now, and all that's playing together for the bearish bias here. And that happened at 12:15. So that was solid. That's a pretty solid move there, guys. Targeting down to the lows down in that area. Pretty sexy, pretty nice. Could you have had your stop tighter? Yeah, you could have had your stop a little tighter if you really wanted to. But honestly, like this is the protected area, and you wouldn't really want to see it come back up above here. So I mean, you could have it here, in this area, so it gives you a better RR. So this one would be a 1.5, and then this would be just a little over a 2, going there. So about a 150 risk. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't want to see it like keep chopping around and coming back in this pitch. I mean, once it starts doing that, it's like, why am I even in this? So yeah, it was pretty nice here, guys, going down to the short side. So yeah, that's it for the day. If you guys got any questions, let me know. Feel free to reach out. This isn't financial advice. Take it easy. Love y'all. Peace out.